Good morning, all of you folks. Very happy to have you in my channel. Kindly subscribe to this channel to have a lot of nuggets about careers and life. That's why we're calling it Life and Careers Talk. On the table today is a very, very important topic, job losses. Pink slips and job losses have become very, very common now. I think earlier what used to be seen as a Western phenomenon across the world and what has come to India in the more recent years is job losses. Job losses and pink slips are not new, at least for the past few years, both across the tech and non-tech sector. Initially, it was a tech sector which always saw sudden layoffs and sudden job losses for multiple reasons. Likewise, now even in the non-tech space, a lot of job losses happen. And as individuals, there is absolutely no doubt that we get the most affected when the job loss hits us because it's almost a matter of pride and survival. I think we all have our families, we have our lives, we have a lot of commitments, and we have planned a lot of things based on what our remuneration is and what the future career path is. And the biggest assumption we all make is that there is a continuous flow of money in our lives, which is very important. Undoubtedly, money is very important, and we all have our own commitments. We have EMIs, we have children to raise, we have wife to take care of, we have families to run. So in that sense, yes, the moment there is a job loss, it comes as a bolt in the blue. We all get shaken and shattered completely. And maybe it takes even months, or in some cases even years, to come back to normal in terms of all facets of our life, be it personal, professional, financial. It takes quite some time to really recoup from what the job loss created. But interestingly, while we all would like to believe that job losses are sudden, if you really look at it, there are a lot of signals which do happen when you are in a workplace, irrespective of what level you are in. You could be working in the entry level, you could be in the mid level, you could be in the senior level, or even the CXO level. But if you are a professional who are aware, I use the word aware very consciously, quote unquote aware. If you are aware of what is happening around you in your workspace or workplace, there are a lot of signals which come in the run-up to a job loss for you. I mean, it is not that it really comes as a bolt in the blue. At the macro side, there are a number of factors, like, for example, your company is not doing well in that particular industry, your company is not seeing any profits for the past few years, your company's projections in terms of sales revenues are falling down, they're going downhill for 3-4 quarters. Any of this could be an indicator that yes, there could be job losses, and you could be a victim of the job loss. What happens is, a lot of times, because we know we are competent, we know we are very confident, and we know that we have delivered on the particular job, we assume that we are not going to be taken away from the role. But unfortunately, when there are huge changes in the external landscape, what we would call as earth-shaking changes in the macro environment, almost everybody's head is down the gelatin. We need to understand that. So then it's not a question of whether we performed well on the job or not. It's a question of how well the organization did to achieve its goals. If the organization's top management did some blunders and they have not steered the organization in the right path, obviously people down the line are going to be victimized and thrown off their jobs. So you have to keep watching for macro signals which is happening in our industry. That is why I think having an understanding of your competitors, having an understanding of who's what in the industry, and how other peers and friends in the industry in other organizations are doing is very, very important. And that is where a clear understanding of the external issues which our organization faces is very, very important. A lot of times we all go on the beaten track, like the horse keeps running on its track. We are focused so much on our own jobs that really we don't bother to see much about what is happening outside, which is very, very important. And I would urge people in their early careers to really make that a habit. What happens is, when you're a fresher on the job, or somebody who's with 0 to 7 years experience, there is no urge to really look externally. You're going to look externally only when you're going to look at a job change and things like that. But what happens is when your career is growing, when your career is young, it really helps to understand the competitive landscape you are in, how the other organizations, how at least your top 5 or top 6 competitors in the industry are doing and things like that. And having a close eye on a close watch on how they are doing in the industry is going to be a big signal giver, I would say, about how your organization would fare and how your own career will fare, assuming that you're going to continue in this present organization for a long time. So that is why be aware of the external landscape, and the external landscape will give you ample signals to to really know that if your organization could resort to job losses. So from that point of view, yes, job losses coming 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, you can distinctly see them. And as a matter of fact, if you are able to see that in the horizon, you're obviously going to plan and move out of the present role and get to a different role. That's a different story in terms of how we have to change roles and things like that. It is a huge topic. We can take it later. As far as this particular video is concerned, I'm restricting my talk to what signals we all can have in case we are aware in the case of job losses going to affect us or pink slips coming to us. Now let's move to the internal or intra-organizational signals which you could get in case you're going to be affected by downsizing in the organization. A lot of times there are enough and more signals that you could possibly be a victim of a pink slip being given out to you. What are those signals? Yes, keep a watch on your direct boss's behavior. How is your boss treating you? Is there a marked treatment in the way your boss is approaching you as a person, as a professional? A lot of times bosses who are very close and who are cozy, who really love to spend time with you and understand what you're doing on the field or what you're doing at your work, suddenly tend to stay away from you in case they are seeing that your name is on the list of those who have to be pink slips with organizations. Like it or not, bosses also have a predicament, have a very dicey situation where a lot of times it is the top management or the HR which tells them that, look, this is the list of people who have to be downsized, and come what may, it is your KRA that you have to see that these people are out of the organizations. So in this sense, there are really no reason to hold any personal grudges on your bosses because their behavior has changed. What their behavior should really tell you is that it should tell you that there is enough signal that there are some changes going to happen in the organization and you could be a victim of those changes. Victim not in the literal sense, but in the sense that yes, at stake is going to be your job and you need to be aware of it. You need to plan for your future. You need to move out of as fast as possible if required, or if also possible, try and see if you can look at other roles within the organization, move to other functions in case you are comfortable with it. These are some of the ways which you can negotiate that, provided you are completely aware of this huge signal which is a boss's behavior. Second thing is the roles and responsibilities which are given to you by the organization, by the job, are shrunk for unexplained reasons. Watch out for that. In case you are doing a particular job, in case you are a regional sales manager and you are handling about 3-4 territories, and suddenly one fine morning the management decides that they'll take away 2 territories from you and you'll only continue with 2 territories, it is a very, very clear signal that the organization is planning to lay you off in the near future. Or in some cases what happens is there could be competency issues. I'm not judging anyone here. In case the organization feels that given the competitive landscape, given the situation out in the market, you're not performing up to the mark in those 4 regions or X regions, and they take away 2 regions, it clearly means that number one, either they're going to downsize your role or give you a different role or shrink your role, maybe even cut the compensation and probably try and replace you with someone else from the market. That is very natural in today's job market. What happens is pink slips not alone come for extraneous reasons which I was talking about earlier. Pink slips also come on performance basis. In case the organization feels that they've given you enough time and you've not performed well, performed up to the mark from their benchmark. See, what happens is performance is very relative. A lot of times I will feel that I performed so well in my role, but the organization or my boss need not perceive that. They might perceive that there's a lot of gap between what has been achieved and what is possible to be achieved. So if that gap is hugely perceived by the organization, then they are not going to tolerate incompetence, because end of the day, organization is running with you for the sake of some clear and objectives and revenue goals. They are not doing charity. No organization does charity today. Every organization wants one set of people to be driven to a certain number of goals. They could be revenue goals, there could be turnover goals, there could be, like in case of technology businesses, there could be project driven goals, client project deliveries and things like that. So in case you feel that you're not able to cope up with that gap which is seen, then obviously it is time for you to look out for opportunities, or probably negotiate and ask if they are happy with you. There is nothing wrong in asking a boss if they are really happy with your performance. As a matter of fact, I would urge all professionals to keep talking to their bosses once in a while. Even if the boss doesn't open up, you sit with him for a meeting and ask him, look, in the past quarter, have I performed well? Have I achieved whatever is to be achieved? What do you think is the gap? Where should I do well? And that introspection really helps. And also tomorrow when the boss comes up with something like a pink slip, you obviously can go back and tell him, look, you should have communicated to them, this to me earlier. You never told me that there are so many gaps in my performance. So a good dialogue, a possible ongoing dialogue with the boss or the superiors is which also really helps in understanding if the pink slip is going to come to you. Another big and crucial signal which you can watch for is if you're working in a team and your team is reporting to a particular leader, a line manager or functional manager, and all of you in the team, including you, think that things are going very well and you don't really see any problem, but suddenly one fine morning you understand or you learn from sources that your boss has resigned his role and is moving to another organization. There are only two reasons. One, the boss is moving out because he's got better opportunities, better career path. But the other big reason could be that the boss really knows something which you do not know. The boss knows that things are not auguring well for the organization, things are not auguring well for the team or the particular function, be it sales, be it marketing, be it technology, be it cross functions, HR, recruitment, whichever be the function you are in case your boss moves out of the organization for inexplicable reasons, then you really need to evaluate what exactly is happening in the organization. So that is also a huge signal which you can watch for. So most of these signals which we spoke about until now are boss centric, because number one, as I said, the boss shows behavioral changes, the way you are being treated. Number two, the organization also changes your role, changes your scope of work, in a sense downgrades the content of your role, because the content of the role is very important. You could be called whatever. You could be called a tech lead, you could be called a regional sales head, you could be called a national marketing manager, but are you doing everything which is there under that head? Are you continuously doing whatever is meant to be done by that? If you are a national marketing manager, are you doing everything which is meant for that role? Or one fine morning the organization is saying that no, new media, digital media and social media, we are hiring someone else. That kind of a move is a very clear signal that there is a gap somewhere and they are trying to replace you. So keep watching for signals around you. There are a number of signals anywhere. So that is where small talk in the organization helps, cross-functional relationship in the organization helps, having friendship with people across the organizations. All this helps in a big way. So taking all this into consideration and a number of factors like this, you can very clearly see that if you are fairly smart enough, if you are really fairly grounded in that particular role and organization, and you have your ears to the ground, very clearly you are going to have the pink slip come. Yeah, there might be a number of reasons, or there may be reasons where pink slips come as a bolt in the blue. For example, if globally, if you are working with a transnational company and your company goes bust globally, you really can't help. You will know that only one fine morning. Similarly, if your organization gets ingrained in a financial mess and gets into an issue with the national government, obviously your organization is going to face the music immediately, and the immediate consequences of that is people, because unfortunately or fortunately, in our scheme of things, at least in the Indian scheme of things, the easiest overhead which any organization leadership that can be controlled is the head count. So the moment there is a challenge to the organization externally, the immediate immediately they will say you reduce 300 people, you reduce 400 people, you wind up that whole function because that support function is useless and things like that. So all these kind of factors, there are continuously signals around you at least for a quarter to 6 months. It is just that you need to keep your eye open and see what is happening around you. Doing your role is important. Achieving your organizational goals, sales goals, functional goals is important. But that doesn't mean that you have to be blind to what is happening around you. Be aware of what is happening in the external environment, the market. Be very, very aware of what is happening internally with the organization. And a combination of this is a very, very clear signal to what might happen to your job, at least in the near future. 6 months, 1 year, 3 months down the line, is there going to be a challenge in the organization? If there is no challenges, what you perceive based on these signals, you happily continue, do well, get promoted and keep rising in the organizations. But if there is even 1 or 2 signals which could hamper your career growth, which could probably throw you out of the job and leave you in the lurch, the organization doesn't care. Only you have to read your signal, plan your move, get out of the organization and move to a better role. As far as the organization is concerned, they care for you only when you are with them, you are on their roles and you are delivering your goals. The moment there are reasons why they don't require a set of people, the organization, apart from giving you your statutory payments or work end payments, they have absolutely no loyalty to the individual, irrespective of how well you performed in your role. So keep this in mind. You are the master of your interests, you are the leader of your interest, and you're only the fortune holder of your interests. So with that in mind, keep reading signals around you, watch out for the pink slip. In case you see that it is going to happen, defend yourselves, either move out, move to a different role and things like that. As I said in the beginning of this fairly long video, pink slips mostly don't come as a bolt in the blue. There are a lot of signals around, and if you keep your eyes and ears open and your ears on the ground, you will know that the pink slip is coming. Try, beat that pink slip, do well in your career. All the very best. Thanks for your time. As I said initially, subscribe to this channel. Your support is required for me to continue bringing a lot of content which is relevant to today's life and careers. Thanks a ton. Have a great day. Have a great week ahead. Thank you.